Yes, yes, yes. A very good morning. Thank you all for joining us here today on Real Talk, Real Topics. Today we have a very special guest, a close friend of mine, and a partner in my voyage and in what I'm trying to do here for the kids in El Paso. She's been a major help and she's been a major supporter of everything that we're doing. And she's going to come on today to give us a little bit of information about what she has going on, what all books she has coming out, and what events she has coming up for the rest of the year. Juanita has stayed busy the whole time through the pandemic. Kudos to her for her hard work. This year, we've been watching her from afar, being inspired, being motivated by all that she does, and the love that drives her in her heart for these children and her anti-bullying campaign. For those who don't know who Juanita Quinones Gandara is, she is a local children's book author of a book that first brought her out was Zoila the Zebra's Wow. And wow stands for words of wisdom. Juanita is a retired school counselor from the Socorro Independent School District. And her and I have gone around the city and spoken at high schools together. And we actually ran across each other during a career day at one of the middle schools, I believe. And that's how we ended up partnering up. We've built a relationship since then. And like I stated before, she is one of our biggest supporters and one of my biggest cheerleaders. I really love having her not only as a partner in what we're doing, but as a very, very good friend. And coming on now, and I'll let her introduce herself to you guys, is going to be Juanita Quinones Gandara. And Juanita, you're live with us now. If you go ahead and introduce yourself and just give us a short snippet about who you are and what you're doing with Zoila.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that awesome introduction, Julian. I always love to hear you speak. I think you're just a natural. My name is Juanita Quinones Gandara, and I am a proud retired educator. I was a school counselor, like Julian said, 20 school years and a biology for 10. And today I tell everyone I'm living my second dream. I am a children's book author, an educational consultant, and a founder of the bullying program.
Nice, Juanita. So I mentioned Zoila the Zebra, Words of Wisdom. I know that's the first book that you co-authored. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you do have a co-author. And I know that you've written two other books since then, which one of them is going to have Armando the Armadillo. Can you give us the title to that book, please?
Yes, of course. His book is called How to Stop Armadillo Tears.
And then those two books, I know they pertain towards bullying and your movement. Can you give us just a little short about what it is that you wanted to portray, what message you wanted to send out when you wrote these books and when they were placed in your heart and in your mind to write them?
Wonderful questions, Julian. Thank you for asking them. Yes, to make a long story short, I always tell everybody my story I feel is like a miracle story. If you believe in miracles, then you can understand my passion. Basically, what my first book was about or is about is the legacy left behind by my wonderful, hardworking, humble, kind parents. And the second objective to why I wrote the first book was also to teach everyone. I'm talking students, parents, community members, all educators about how to promote a chain reaction of kindness so there will be bullies no more, bullies no more at the home, bullies no more in our community or at our schools. And that includes all of us. It takes a village to raise a child mentality. And so that's what I did with the first two books. I concentrated on bullying because having been a school counselor for 20 years, I did see a lot of students and a lot of them had issues or problems with bullying.
Yes, I rarely talk about that when I go out and speak to these kids. But, bullying was a major part of what turned me into the dark side, I would say, right? At a young age was I was a skinny, lanky kid. I got bullied. I got beat up one day really, really bad, and I promised myself and everyone around me that I would never get beat up after that day. And then I became the bully. So bullying did have a big impact in my life, um, and towards the decisions that I make. So, Juanita, I know you have a third book that you just put out, and can you give us the title of that and what that book is about and what inspired you to write that book?
Okay. Again, I have to mention my amazing co-author. I always do. His name is Dr. Mark Bowles, and I always give him credit for myself being an author today. As a matter of fact, one of my main goals is to help empower other future authors because all he asked me was, Juanita, would you consider writing a book? And I said no at the beginning, but then when he told me, all you got to think about is if you write a book, what would you want it to be about? And the second question was, what would you want to tell the whole world? And sometimes today I ask myself, if he had not asked me those two questions, would I be an author today? So that's the questions I have for anyone out there listening to this message. Have you ever thought of writing a book? What would it be about? And what would you want to tell the whole world? So I got distracted a little bit, Julian. Please, the third book, you asked me what inspired us to write it. Well, it's a co-author is somebody whose input has a lot to do with the book. Well, I'll be very honest with you. I call him a very brilliant mind. He is a PhD doctor of 16 history books. And you're probably asking yourself, what is a history professor? How is he a co-author with a counselor whose main experience was in elementary? Well, that's where the miracle story comes in. I met him over the phone, and the rest, you'll just have to invite me and we can go visit together, Julian and I, virtually, and I can tell you the miracle story. But the book on how to help avoid getting sick is the obvious. As you know, right now we're really going into the second wave of COVID-19, and it's not a joke. And basically, he thought about, what, Juanita, what do you think about writing a book to help children understand what's going out there and how to teach following these strict guidelines without having them be afraid? And so that's where my input came in. And basically, the three tricks, Julian, are wearing a mask, of course, washing your hands,
Well, don't
and
reveal the
social
third.
distance.
Don't reveal the third, because then they won't buy the book. You're
Okay,
giving
I
away
won't.
your product. You're giving
I
away your
know, but look at
product.
how beautiful. Look at how cute.
No, it's a
And
very good
it
book.
really does introduce it in a very fun way for children to understand, why we need to follow the guidelines.
Awesome, Juanita. And thank you for taking that step and reaching out to the kids. Our kids are forgotten most of the time, and we do need to find a way to communicate this situation with them. And it's a very good way, very good presentation on the book, and a way to introduce it to the children. Now, I know I've known you when you first started getting Zoila together, and
Yes.
you were still doing things at the mall. This is when life used to be normal before the COVID-19, and now you're blowing up. You're getting bigger. Zoila is getting more attention, and you've actually done two songs for Zoila, and those are up for sale as well as her books. You can find those songs on all streaming platforms, on YouTube as well. The titles of the song is Zoila's Dream, Mi
Yes.
Sueño. For those that don't understand Spanish, Mi Sueño is my dream. So it's Zoila's Dream, and then in Spanish, Mi Sueño. Then she has another one by the name of Zoila's Cumbia, and you can find these all on sale for 99 cents on all streaming platforms, on iTunes as well. And then you can find them on YouTube. You guys support what Juanita is doing, please. She's doing a wonderful thing here in this community for the kids, for our society in whole, in general. And any purchases of these books, Juanita's putting them to good use in going out to these schools and encouraging children to become authors, to read, and to most importantly, to be kind to each other, right? So,
That's right.
Juanita, I know that Zoila, the character, the zebra, her story is based a lot on your story growing up as a child here in El Paso, an immigrant child. You want to share a little bit with us, just a tiny little bit about, um, the things that you bring to the table through Zoila.
Of course. Yes, well, first of all, this is what it looks like. And let's see if you can get a good look at it. It's Zoila the Zebra's Wow for Wisdom. And basically, it talks about me being born in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico. And I say that proudly because my parents' main goal was to help us come to the United States to help live our American dream. Like most of us here, can relate. A lot of people come up to me and say, "Yeah, my parents were also from Mexico. Yes, my parents were also immigrants, migrant workers, and my parents did. They actually worked in the field. My father and my mother." And I didn't mention that in the book, but when I go visit the schools, I do make sure to mention who my parents were. And basically, in the book, it talks about all that. And it talks about, I love this one, about my mother, who she was. And it talks about her being a homemaker, a cook, baker, and a music lover. And that's
Nice.
why I tell everybody that I use my puppets Zoila and Armando to bring my books to life using Latin music. And why Latin music? Because that's the kind of music I grew up with. And so my father they talk about him in the book. And oh, sorry, right here. He used to build rock walls. He had his own company, and so I talk about that, but mainly the reason I mention my upbringing in the book is because I tell everyone that all the children and everybody, old or young, that it doesn't matter, that it's never too early or too late to start dreaming. And it doesn't matter where you come from. I always tell them, once you're here in the United States, what are you going to do with your life? And that's my main goal of the book, as well as entitling them to visit Zoila when she figures out the secret, to battling bullying. And she says, you know what, all you got to do is be a leader, be
Nice.
kind, and just tell everyone about being that. And so if you're kind, we won't have bullies here in our school anymore. And so there's 5 wows in the book. The golden rule is the first: be your best self, be humble and kind. If you feel angry, stop and think before you open your mouth. Use your hands or feet. Number 4, hablando se entiende la gente. And number 5, be a good listener. And all my books are Spanglish. And what I mean by that is they're mainly written in English, but I throw some Spanish in there as well.
Nice, nice, Juanita. Now on the screen right now, I have your event that you've been invited to, happening November the 1st. Can you give us a little bit of details about that? I'm not getting the dates and all that on the screen. The picture didn't size
Okay.
well, but if you can give us the date, what it is that you're doing, and what the event is about.
Wonderful. Yes. Well, first of all, I want to pay a huge shout out to the Juntas Podemos page. They actually, organization, they invited me to be part of their page. And once I got on there, I introduced myself, told them what I did. And they asked me, since November, Juanita, is Family Literacy Night. Or Family Literacy Month, excuse me, where we, of course, promote family literacy and the importance of teaching families why that's important. And they asked me if I could do a reading on one of my books. And the book that I chose to do it on was my first book on Zoila the Zebra's Wow. You'll get an
Nice.
opportunity to see how I use my puppets and music and read the book in general, so that, because there's 32 pages. And so I love to make it fun, and I like to empower, educate, and encourage anyone who is going to be listening. It's going to be on Facebook Live on November the 1st at 7 p.m. So be looking out for us, and we'll just put it live.
Nice, nice. Now, also, you mentioned that October is National Anti-Bullying Month, Suicide Prevention and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Correct.
Yes,
So you guys, if you know anyone that's going through this, reach out, get some help for them. Don't be silent. You know, when you're quiet about these kinds of things, you're pretty much enabling the person that's doing this. You know, speak up, be a voice for the people, be a voice for the people,
yes,
especially a voice for the children, right? Juanita, we thank you so much for being a voice for our children in this community, fighting for them, fighting for what's right, most importantly, and doing your best out here, sharing your love, your kindness, and spreading love in the Sun City. Now,
yes,
for anyone, we'll just do a recap real quick. If you're trying to buy some of these books, Juanita does have a sale going due to Halloween, due to Christmas coming up. But if you guys want to buy books to hand out for Halloween,
there you
not a
go.
bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Give some knowledge instead of sugar. You guys can purchase books on Amazon. You guys can find Juanita's number on the description of these videos. You may call her directly to order. You can get them autographed. They're usually $20 on Amazon. Right now,
Yes,
she has a promo. If you mention Real Talk, you will get a $10 off. So you'll get 3 books for
yes,
$50. You can
that's
give your
right.
kids all 3 books, give them something that's going to teach them something positive, fill their little hearts and minds with kindness and some knowledge. You know, reach out, get these books for them, support what Juanita's doing, you guys. We have to support the good things of this world, you guys. You know, it tears my heart to see a lot of support for these bad things that are out there. And we have people that are trying to do beautiful things for our children, most importantly, and for our community. And those are the people that lack the most support. So I'm challenging every one of you guys. You want to do something, you want to do something good this Christmas. Give your kids something awesome, and you're helping a small business, a person that really loves this city and gives back to the community. Support, buy her books, please. Right now it's COVID, and you know businesses are taking a hit. The real talk, we haven't been able to go out and do any funding, anything this year. Um, and Juanita hasn't been able to hit the pavement as hard as I'm sure she would have.
Right.
Support, please, you guys. She gives back. She donates to Real Talk. She's a big supporter of us, and we're a huge supporter of her. So please
Yes.
help us. Let's join hands together for our kids, for kindness in our city, and go out and purchase these books. Juanita, would you like to tell us any last few words before we sign off today?
Yes, as a matter of fact, a few words, but a main question for you as well, Julian. My question to you is, can you please inform anyone who's listening how we are going to be working this year together and helping make a positive difference, especially at the high schools and middle schools?
Oh yes, so Juanita and I are going to team up this year. We would have been doing this already had COVID not struck. But we are teaming up and we're giving a message at the high schools. Juanita goes into the elementary schools, and our message is a little too rough for elementary kids. So we do soften up our message, and then Juanita comes with us to put a nice big bow on whatever we just told the kids, right? So at the high schools, Juanita has a challenge connecting with the kids. They're a little more rough. You know, they're in high school, they know it all. They sit there slouched over. They don't want to hear about some puppets and a zebra and an armadillo, right? So
But
what
they
we
do.
do, yeah, so what we've done, oh no, they do. They sit there and listen. So what we've done is we've come up with a presentation for the high schools where, you know, Juanita had a tragic happening at a young age, and instead of her turning to drugs or turning down a bad path, you know, she inspired to be somebody full of kindness and to be better. And we tell these kids, look, all of us have had a real crappy story to tell you guys about going to prison and doing drugs and ending up in bad positions because of what happened to us in our life. But I'm going to introduce to you a woman that went through something horrific at a young age and turned towards positivity and is now a children's book author and has really given back to the community, not only through what she did professionally, but through what she's doing now through her love. It's not really a job for her, it's what she loves doing, right? So
That's
we share our stories together at the elementaries and high schools in hopes of reaching one child, one parent, even one educator. You guys, when we
right.
go to, yes, Juanita, when we go, Juanita's a testament to this. When I go talk at these schools, that or when any opportunity I get a chance to speak to educators, I'm not just speaking to the kids, but I do call out the educators and reminding them that they're there because they're there to make better people and to educate these children to become better people. They're not there for a job or a paycheck. And if they are there for that, then they should step aside. I do call them out. I do speak real. I do speak my truth. It might not be the truth to a lot of people, but it's what I feel in my heart, and it's what I feel I should be doing for the children of our community. And I do speak up on behalf of them. And I remind these educators that these children are there seeking their help. These teachers aren't there just to collect the check. And, and,
That's
and if you want to do that, there's plenty of hobbies for that. You could
right.
go collect beer cans or whatever it is. But, these children are here. They're entrusted to you. We as a society entrust our educators. And, it's not 100% on them. It's 50-50. If the teacher gives 100% and us as parents give 100% at home, man, how much better that would be, Juanita.
That's right.
How much
So
better that would be.
yes, you said it perfectly, Julian. And I guess in a nutshell, what I want to just really encourage everyone is, can you imagine a world where all people, like I mentioned, students, parents, everyone followed Zoila's wows, not because they're Zoila's wows, but because they make so much sense. Treat others
Amen.
the way you want to be treated. When you get angry, do you stop and think before you open your mouth, before you use your hands or feet? You get the message. And so imagine what a better world it would be. So I really want to empower all of you and encourage you to practice these 5 wows daily as much as possible. Nobody's perfect, but we can all at least, try.
Amen. Amen, Juanita. That is hitting the nail on the head. We're far from perfect. Like
Exactly.
what I say is I'm not even far from perfect. I'm far away from the path on being perfect. You know.
We all are.
Yes, but as long as we recognize that, we keep trying, keep spreading love, keep
Yes.
loving our community and our kids. It sounds cliche, but they are our future. They really are. So as always, I sign you guys out. Juanita, thank you for joining us and
You're
coming on our
welcome. And
show
thank
today.
you for inviting me.
And as always, you guys love on your children. Love on them. Don't just buy them things. Don't just give them kisses. Don't just hug them. Put a belt to their butt if they need it. Give them some structure. Teach them right from wrong. Give them the most important thing, the priceless thing on this earth, which is your time. You invest your money in all these things that you want to be better, a better car, better tires, oh, a better system. Oh, I'll get better couches. Invest your time into your children.
That's
Make better humans. I
amen.
challenge all of you guys with that. God
Yes.
bless you guys. Love your enemies. Pray for your neighbor and pray for our country right now. Until next time, God bless. And remember, keep it real and keep on talking.
Real talk, real topics. Real talk, real topics. In that 915 on that borderline.
El Paso. Yeah. Got that Chuco love.